Hey everybody, this is Mark the Animal Mendoza, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the Paulie Z Show, and this is episode number 39. And I'm excited because that's 1 away from 40, and 40 is 10 away from 50, which is half of 100. That's pretty awesome, no? So anyway, this is the first podcast back in New York. We did our 4-part little mini series in the West Coast. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. You know, it was nice. It's always nice to go out there, but it's especially nice when I can get some people in to the studio and be face-to-face. And today, actually, my guest is going to be in the studio, too. So this is it's been nice. The last few podcasts have been great. And hopefully we can get more people in the studio so I could be face-to-face. But anyway, I wanted to, one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about on the other episodes because we was, you know, obviously we had our guests and we were talking about all that other stuff. I really didn't get a chance to talk about my experience while I was on the West Coast. And I'm talking food-wise, not otherwise. You know, what else am I going to talk about? It's Paulie Z. I'm going to talk about food, right? So real quick, before I tell you who's coming in today and before he actually, comes into the studio, he's in the green room now waiting. Let me just go over a couple of places I went while I was in. Well, for people that don't know, I was in L.A. for a couple of days. That's when we did our interviews. And then I went to Vegas. I had some business out there and relaxing, pleasure, little vacation time. And I got to tell you, the food is unreal out there. And, this is like, I think my 3rd time in Vegas. And I remember the first time I went. And I remember saying to myself, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do in Vegas? I don't gamble. I don't drink. You know what I mean? I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't do it like any of the things that I always kind of connected to Vegas. And I went out there and I had an amazing time. Mainly, obviously the environment itself, just to look at the structures. I mean, everything is built so nice. Everything's really classy. It's like, like New York. Like we go to Times Square, you could just stand there and look at everything. But for me, the food and the entertainment, it was just like a candy machine of entertainment, and I'd just be like, okay, I want to see this today and I want to eat this today. And it was just amazing. So on my trip, I actually got to see Love, which I wanted to see when it first came out, but it was sold out. So I'm really happy I got to see that. And my quick criticism, see, I combined 2 words and I said my quickicism, but is basically that it was a great show. I definitely recommend it. But my thing is with that show is that the transitions were very awkward. And let me explain real quick. Like when a song is done and it's done, and then there's like that couple seconds of silence so that the audience knows to applaud. It's like that's the point where you applaud. They never really gave you that. Like even if you buy the soundtrack, there's never space. So there's always transitioning like music and stuff. So everything was very anticlimactic with the exception of the very, very beginning when it first started and they kind of like, they go into the song Get Back. And as soon as like, dum, 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 bang, bang. And then they drop these curtains. And that was the only time throughout the whole show that I ever felt any sort of like excitement as far as like drama. You know what I mean? Not drama in the sense that like everything else was very beautiful and dramatic, but it never had that climax of like I wanted to get up and clap. Even at the very end, it was like a very long, drawn out like ending where people were kind of standing out, waving to the audience for like 5 minutes. So you kind of like, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't get that. It was just awkward. So anyway, that's my only criticism. But otherwise, the music and the remixes of the songs were great, and the play was great. Also, I saw Tom Jones, which was so cool because I'm a big Tom Jones fan. And he still got it, man. He was shaking the pelvis, And it's funny how like guys can still be sexy when they're older. You know what I mean? Like it's like you could be like he's not moving like he used to be, but he just moved a little bit, pelvis side to side, and you do a couple little things, and the women went crazy. So I thought that was good, and he played songs from the new album, and they were really good. So if any Tom Jones fans out there, go buy the new album. Okay, so that's it for the shows. I'm going to talk about my food, and I'm going to try to make this quick because I want to get to our guest today, and I'll tell you who that is in a second. All right, let's go really quickly. I stayed at the MGM Grand, and I wrote down some things. If you're at the pool, definitely order the quesadilla with or without chicken. I actually prefer it without the chicken because they give you more cheese, and it's really, really good. And the cheeseburger, medium rare with the fries, it's waffle fries, my favorite. I love waffle fries. But I say don't order the Thai chicken salad. The chicken was dry, and the lettuce was just like, it just felt like everything didn't mesh together well. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like, it wasn't a happy medley of saladness. So I wouldn't get that. And the room service, I would say definitely order the breakfast burrito. I got that twice. French toast, I got that twice too. And the pancakes, very, very good. But I wouldn't order the healthy scramble. Not because it's healthy, just because it wasn't too good. And the sausage, either the patty or the link, not very good. The buffalo wings, waste of money. And the milkshake. I don't know how you could fuck up a milkshake, but they did. All right, Nobu. That's my first restaurant that I went to. And Nobu, I've been dying to go to for a long time because that's like Howard Stern's favorite place, and he talks about it all the time. So I was very excited. And I got to tell you, the food was really good, but I will tell you this. Let me preface the review by saying not worth the price. Very, very, very expensive. Just not worth it for me. Like when I go to Peter Luger's, I know I'm going to spend a fortune, but I feel like it's worth it. I didn't think this was like heads and tails better than like other sushi places that I've been to, but it's like triple the price. So that's my only caveat right there. But if you're rich and you don't care, then I would say get the yellowtail tartare, California roll, spicy tuna roll, avocado roll, eel avocado roll, and the tempura. As you can see, I like my rolls. That's what I order. And what was amazing, I'll tell you, the one thing that I would have paid the money, I probably would have paid double, the black cod. Oh my God. I had, I have, oh my God. Oh my God. See, no one hears my producer giving me these jokes, so they think I'm the funny one. But it was unreal, man. Like I took one bite and I started doing my thing. I know it's bad. It's not good manners to do in public, but I start like moaning and stuff when I eat. So I'm like, oh my God. And then like people start looking, I'm like, oh. And the waiter's like, I guess you're enjoying it. I'm like, oh my God. But I think the waiters and the chefs appreciate that. So I don't really care about the other patrons. So the only thing I say don't order, it was the shrimp and lobster, and I think it came with like noodles or something. It's kind of bland. Again, if you're gonna get shrimp and lobster, you would imagine it to be really tasty and good. I didn't think it was, so I would stay away from that. Okay, then the second night, I can't wait to tell you about this place. Thank God for Twitter because I got into that mainly for everyone does Twitter. You figure it's good for business or whatever. But then once you get into it, you start utilizing it for other things. And I started tweeting and I said, wonder if people can give me suggestions. So I said, I want to go to a really good place tonight. Any suggestions? And I got like hundreds of tweets right away, hundreds of Twitters. See, I'm up to date with everything. And people were saying, go here, go here, go here, go here. And I think that was the day that I was going to see Love. So I wanted to stay close to that. So I actually decided to go to a place called Stack, which a handful of people recommended. And wow, unreal. I can't even explain. Like I can't wait to go back just to go to that restaurant. The atmosphere was gorgeous. I love the environment. I'm very big into atmosphere and the decor. And it was great. And I ordered the perfect meal for me. It was the Brooklyn filet. The Brooklyn filet. And what that is a filet mignon, 14 ounce. 14 ounce. That's the kind of filet I eat on the bone. And the only other time I had that was at the old Homestead. And I remember that being amazing too. But a filet mignon on the bone, I think to me is probably one of the, I think probably the best meat dish I could ever have. That's like my ultimate, that's like banging Christina Applegate in my book, that's like the ultimate for me. So, Christina Applegate, okay? Don't, if you people out there are wondering why, that's my girl. That's my celebrity, A-list. Like if I had one girl, Christina Applegate, I'm so in love with her. Didn't I say the story? Did I ever say the story when I met her? How I creeped her out? I never said that? Oh, I'll save that for another time. that's a podcast in itself. Anyway, so I got that medium rare, and it was unreal, worth every penny. Again, I would have paid triple for that. It was one of the best pieces of steak I've ever had in my life. I was moaning, as you can imagine. Sauteed spinach was great. The baked potato, which is cool because the baked potato, it's gigantic, and then it comes with all the sides like in a little like metal cups. So you got like cheese, bacon, sour cream, and then chives, and then there was like another one I forgot. Oh yeah, and then a butter, like a regular butter, but they were all like in little cups on like this tray, so it was really cool. It was like you would think a baked potato is very plain, but it was like kind of fancy and delicious. And for dessert, the banana cream pie. These were these little mini banana cream pies, and that was great. The only thing I said, don't order the crab sticks. They were just, kind of like basically like almost like spring rolls or egg rolls, but just I thought overly greasy, and I didn't really taste the crab enough, so I wouldn't get that again. And then the last one is the place called Fiamma, which was at the MGM where I was staying. And I didn't think it was good. I thought the last day I'm checking out, I'll just get some nice Italian. I wasn't expecting much. And I have to tell you, I was blown away. I have nothing on my don't order list, put it that way. And it was unreal Italian. Like, I've been to Italy. Okay, I've been there. To the real Italy where the real Italians are. I've been there. Okay, I've had the real pasta, and this was great. Okay, Caesar salad, excellent, but it's whatever. It's a Caesar salad. But let's get to the good stuff. Short rib ravioli and the gnocchi. Now, first of all, I asked the waiter, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." And I said, "What's the deal with this chef?" And he said, "This guy tries to do less of the American Italian, what we're used to. I mean, he has spaghetti and meatballs and things like that, but he says in Italy, there's a lot of things that they offer that we don't have here." And one of the things was the short rib ravioli, which is a very slow roasted short rib and then stuffed in the ravioli. And even the kind of sauces he uses. So it's like stuff that people aren't used to here when you think of Italian food. And it was the raviolis was like small. They weren't like the big raviolis. They were like smaller. But the sauce and the short rib inside it was great. And the gnocchi, which to me gnocchi is usually very good, but I don't know, it's like nothing crazy. I never go crazy over gnocchi. It's just like little potato balls. You know what I mean? But these were like explosions of taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? It was like, oh. And then so here's the thing. I couldn't decide between a pasta or a fish. Oh, I wanted like fish. They had Chilean sea bass. So I just said, fuck it. I'm in Vegas. So I got both. So I got all of them. So I actually got the sea bass too, and that was outrageous. And the tiramisu was outrageous, and even the coffee was outrageous. So this place that I thought was going to be whatever turned out to be amazing. It was called Fiamma in the MGM. So anyway, that is my food review for Vegas for my trip. And and also I was obviously when I was in LA, I had to go to the Rainbow, and I wanted to thank. On the record, I'd like to thank my producer extraordinaire, Alex, for treating me to dinner at the Rainbow, which was very, very kind of him. And me being the Jew I am, ordered the most expensive shit on the menu. He's like, my treat. I'm like, I'll have a filet mignon. But, Alex, can you come on for 1 second? Just that was your first time at the Rainbow. Did I lie, or was that some of the greatest food? How good was that food?
The Rainbow, in my opinion, is like going to your fat aunt's house and having like the food you've been looking forward to for like 2 months on like, let's say like some family holiday. Like let's say you celebrate grandpa's birthday even though he's dead, and you go over Aunt Cindy's house, and Aunt Cindy had like 80 kids. She never had a job. Uncle Jerry worked for the government. They retired early, and she just makes a killer, everything home style killer. That was my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm glad you felt that way, because I hype it up. And and that's the whole point of this podcast too, is like, obviously I'm not going to recommend something to you, especially like the Rainbow, where I highly recommend it, if I don't really believe in it. And it's always great to see someone else as excited as I was. Like those mozzarella sticks, the cubes. Yeah, they're like blocks of mozzarella. But I mean, they're not average sticks. They're not average sticks. They're like head and shoulders above any mozzarella stick I've ever had. And the chicken soup is like from another planet. It's ridiculous. It's so amazing. The filet mignon, everything there was great. So thank you again, Alex. Had a great time. Thank you. Yeah. But I'm an entertaining date. You got to admit that. So anyway, now let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the entree. Whoa, we like that little segment right there. Who's going to be on today? Well, none other than my good friend, Mr. Mark Mendoza. Now, Mark, say hello.
Hey.
Hey. For those who don't know, Mark Mendoza is the bass player for the band Twisted Sister.
And producer.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Always, everything.
You produce all the records?
Yeah, everything since 2003.
Oh, I
and
didn't know
some of
that.
the stuff before that.
I did not know
Yes.
that. Oh, so then I apologize. Well, look at that. See, you learn. That's what I like about
Obviously,
this show.
you did. You invited me on the show and you didn't do your homework.
Well, I did, but
to read up about the subject who was going to be
I did.
interviewed by you.
I did,
Obviously,
but
you don't have the right questions.
Hold on a second. Wikipedia did not say anything
Yeah,
about
you
you
went on
being the
Wikipedia. Wait till you see your Wikipedia page that I take care of.
You know what's funny about that, real quick?
What?
When I was out in L.A. and we were, Sam Simon was on the show, and it was like 3 episodes ago, and he comes in, and I naturally go to Wikipedia. It's just like the first thing that comes up in Google, and it's just like easy. And he comes in and he catches me. He goes, "Oh no, don't tell me you're looking me up on Wikipedia." He goes, "Half that shit's wrong."
Yeah, it's all wrong.
Yeah, but I was like, I felt
all
like such a douche.
Yeah, it's all wrong.
But
Obviously, you don't do your homework well enough
not at
to
all.
be an interviewer on a radio show.
No, I rely on my pure charm and personality.
Well, that's not going to get you far either.
I knew this was a mistake. Mark's a tough cookie. Well, that's why they call you Mark the Animal Mendoza.
Now, how do you know why they call me Mark
I
the
know
Animal
that.
Mendoza? No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Why do they call me Mark the Animal Mendoza?
Because you were, back in the day, you were like, weren't you in gangs, and you were a tough badass, and you were like an animal.
I guess you got that off of Wikipedia too, huh?
No, you tell you.
Shit. I didn't tell you that.
No, but
Did
you
I
told,
tell you that?
You told me something, and then I came to my own conclusion.
I told you something that was nowhere near that.
Yes, but I came to my own conclusion, which wound up being that. All right, well, you're going to
Who's
explain.
responsible for this radio show? Obviously, it can't be you.
No.
What?
You're going to explain
don't
that.
look at him either, huh?
You're going to explain that in 2 seconds, but I want to
Right.
just let everyone know what's happening today is we did this once before. This is our second time. When my brother was on his birthday, I surprised him by having a chef come on the show, because the show is about rock and roll and food. And, I love my food. And one of the things that I thought would be cool is, what if we had a chef on the show while we're talking?
With naked women?
Well, we're working up to that. We're
Okay.
working up to that. Yeah, that's the next step. And so for today, for you, because you're such a good buddy of mine, I decided to bring in a chef. It's not easy just to find chefs. They're not just hanging around.
I could think of a lot of things to say about this situation. Right? I mean, this is radio, so people can't see this.
Okay,
right?
you want to
But if
explain
they
what's
could-
going on?
But if they could see this, okay, I could take a lot of shots at this guy, but he's making my food. Plus he's not washing his hands, and he's scratching everything on his body, and he's got these open sores, and he's still making our food here.
All right, well,
this is
hold on.
amazing. And we're not even in a studio with some sort of storage container.
No,
here.
no, we're not. No,
What
we're
is
not.
What-
This is a
what
multi-million-dollar studio.
I didn't. Yeah, multi-million-dollar.
Can you mute Alex? Mute his mic for a second. All right, hold on. Well, let the man defend himself. Let me introduce our chef of
Chef
the day.
Boyardon here, all right?
Our
Introduce
chef of the
yourself.
day, Ken Calabro. Ken, say hello.
Hello, how you doing? Apparently, I'm the bleeding leper behind the counter here.
He's poor. He's defeated already.
Hey, are you a chef full time somewhere or something like that?
Yes, I work in Manhattan.
Yeah, have
I
you
work
seen you on TV or something? You're one of them
No,
chef programs or something? Because I don't watch that
Complete
stuff.
face for radio. You have not seen me on TV anywhere.
Really?
No,
It's
the
good-
other-
It's good for the TV land, that's for sure.
No, my brother got the
And
guy
for
from
the rest of America.
My brother got the guy from Top Chef.
How come we didn't have him here?
Well, because that's my
We
brother.
got Chef Boyardon here.
Because that's my brother. He's
Really?
blood. Yeah.
Yeah, is it really?
Yeah. You don't
Yeah,
get.
you're
You don't
gonna
get.
have blood too.
You
in a
don't
minute.
get. You don't get the TV
Yeah, okay.
personality.
Well, I hope he's good. Obviously, he's got a lot of interesting stuff.
Well, Ken, tell us real briefly. What's your story? How'd you get to this point in life in culinary?
I got a phone call from Paulie. That's how I got here.
Yeah, no, I've been cooking all my life. Grew up in a family that cooks, and it was just natural to do it for a living. So I love what I do. It's so much fun just to make stuff and get that immediate feedback.
But you went to school for it?
Yes, I went
Okay.
to school here in Manhattan,
And what school?
the Art Institute of New York.
And what are you doing now? Where you? Because I know it's a really nice place that you're like one of the cooks at. What is it?
I work at Hillstone Restaurant in Manhattan.
Fancy schmancy. He's one
I
of the
noticed
chefs.
he said here in Manhattan. Are we supposed to be in Manhattan?
Well, it's New York. It's,
New York,
it's
yeah.
all the same.
No. It's okay. We can
not
be out in the
originally
island.
Oh, are we okay?
It's okay. Yeah.
We're like 80
I
miles
mean,
from Manhattan right
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not as cool. It's not as prestigious.
Oh, it's
as
fine.
being in
Believe me,
Manhattan.
I don't want to be in
there's
Manhattan.
nothing. Yeah. Well, I don't want to be in Long Island, so there
And
we
what
go.
are you doing here?
It's the only place
Believe
I can
me,
get.
leave.
Hey, I've done some good for Long Island recently. Come on,
like
I raised
what?
I raised money. Don't you remember?
Please, I'm trying to forget that.
No, we got to talk about that. All right, so hold on before we start. So, Ken, can you just explain to us today what's on the menu? What are you going to make for the boys for us today?
Well, considering the intro from Mark, it's mud pie. No,
I'm not that far from you.
He's got a long reach.
far enough I can run.
Actually, I mean, I usually give someone who makes my food a lot of respect, so I'm just doing it for the comedic value.
Right. I was gonna say if you're gonna degrade him, I would do it after the meal.
after
You
the
don't know
show.
what he's gonna put.
You're a dead man when you walk out of here, man.
My life's dream.
Yeah. So by the way, Ken, no pressure on how good the food's gonna be. No pressure.
right?
You're just your
All
life.
those twisted sister jokes go right out the window right now.
Take your best shot.
What's on the menu?
Are we supposed to make believe that this is wine or something?
No, it's just water.
It's vintage water.
The best Long Island has to
Yeah,
offer.
you ain't kidding, man.
What do we got? All right, we got
the best of carcinogens right here.
we
Candy
got
frozen water.
an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
what do we got? Appetizer is
Appetizer is seared ahi bruschetta, which is simply seared ahi with jicama, avocado, lime, cilantro on top of a grilled slice of baguette.
okay.
The entree we're doing is grilled eggplant burgers. My whole theme for this was just summer, light, fresh, simple preparation.
Okay.
So let's take the heavy red meat out and
But it's still a burger, so you get that feeling of like you're out.
we're building
right.
it just like it's
And
gonna
with-
look like a burger.
And asparagus fries, right?
Yeah, quote unquote.
Quote unquote, okay.
Quote unquote. We're just doing
Quote
the side of get rid of the heavy starch and the typical side that all Americans eat, and let's just
Substitute it.
something healthier and fresher.
And the good stuff, the dessert. I know you have something
yeah.
special.
For
Which is
dessert is bruleed peaches with dried cranberries, dark chocolate, and Jack Daniel's whipped cream.
and is that the one that you brought that toy, that fancy toy?
I have a
What is that?
It's a brulee torch.
Show Mark. How cool is that?
Yeah, it looks like one of my welding torches in my shop.
There you go. Same, yep. Finally, we have something in common.
All right, so are you ready,
Yeah,
Ken?
there you go. There you go.
Ken, you ready?
I'm ready to roll.
All right,
let's go.
Start cooking whenever, and we'll check in on you and see how everything's going, and just let us know when when it's ready, and then we'll start eating the first course. So, all right, so Mark, why do they call you the animal? What is the story about that?
Do I really have to tell that story here on this show?
You don't have to.
No, you're right. I don't have to do anything.
But you will.
Actually, I'll tell you.
But you
the
will.
Truth. I'll tell you the truth. Absolutely. Back when I was in high school, I was a senior and a football player in high school, and I was sitting on the bleachers out back after school one day, and I was talking about a conquest, a female conquest I had like the night before, and this girl was walking by and thought I was talking about her. She was a prior conquest. So
Okay.
as I was saying it, she walked up, and I had my head turned, and as I was saying it, she came up and slapped me across the face and said, "You animal."
Oh, you can. And it's stuck like
That's
that?
exactly where it came from.
Wow.
Yes.
I did not know that story.
Yes, that's
okay.
a true story.
And so, but now I am correct in saying that you were at one point in your life, you were sort of like in gangs and kind of doing that kind of stuff.
A gang?
Was it a gang or was it?
Gang? Where do you get this from? You Wikipedia?
No, you
I was
freaking
never-
told me that.
I never told you I was in a gang.
Or was it just like a motorcycle club or something?
No, I never.
Never?
No, a gang?
Oh, I
No,
don't know.
A motorcycle club's a motorcycle club. A gang is a bunch of guys that hang out on the street and cause problems.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason that
No.
you told me that, or that maybe that I got that
You
mixed up.
obviously need to clear your ears or get that curly stuff
But
out of
weren't
the
you
way.
weren't you like a tough guy back in the day?
I'm
like
still
you
a tough guy.
You know what I mean, but you're like a tough. But
You're
now
talking
you're a
about
teddy
I was-
bear
I was a bounty hunter at one time.
or something like that. I know you had
that's
some.
what I did.
All right, so
Yeah.
then let's talk about
That's
that.
not a gang.
But you had a gun, no?
I always have a gun. I'll blow your brains out right now. How's that?
Well,
You don't have to do this silly radio show.
Well, you got to
anymore.
understand something. I grew up in a Hasidic neighborhood. I'm just like a nice, I never been in a fight. I'm just like a nice, good Jewish boy. Okay, so anyone like you, I consider a gang. You know, like if
I'm one guy. Well, I guess my size compared to you, I'm a gang.
you're a gang. You know?
I'm a gang.
You know, you get into fights and stuff,
know,
and you're tough, and you're.
You know,
a gang.
let me clue you onto something, okay? When you're talking about like a motorcycle club, like whether it's a regular motorcycle club or outlaws, you don't call them a gang.
So what do they call?
They're a club.
Okay, and what did you do at the club? Did you like play?
I wasn't in a club.
Oh, you weren't even in a club?
No, I never said that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I might. Maybe I made this all up.
You play your guitar too loud.
Well, I am not a fighter. You know that. All my fans know that. I'm a lover and an eater. But I have, ever since I met you, I have challenged you, and you have refused to take my challenge. I have challenged you for charity. I said I want to get in the ring with you and take you on, mano
exactly.
man to goofball.
Describe what you think is getting in the ring and taking me on.
Like a well, not boxing because I think you'd kill me, but like some sort of like grappling, something that's non-evasive.
You want to wrestle?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I'll snap you like a toothpick.
No, but you can't. Obviously, you gotta,
I can.
I know you can, but you shouldn't. I'm saying legally, you shouldn't do that.
The last time I did that, I didn't mean to hurt somebody, and they got really badly hurt.
What, when you were like wrestling for fun or whatever?
Yeah, it was for fun, you know. And
okay.
you know, one thing wrong, you know, it's not the WWF, you know. So one wrong move, and somebody really gets hurt badly, you know.
Yeah, but then I get the sympathy from the ladies.
You ain't getting anything from anybody, believe me.
So, all right. So tell me. Well, I'm actually very interested now that you told me about the producing of the record. I did not know that, honestly. So how did that come to be? Was it just that?
Well, in Twisted Sister, in every band and everything I've ever done, I was like producing. You know, right from when I was in a club band when I was 16, I was record the band.
Not a gang bang.
No, not
club
a gang.
band.
You going to take this serious, or you want to go for the comedy aspect? Because I'll waste time just like you can if you want to do it.
I like to throw it in. I season.
It's not working.
It's
no, your seasoning's not like his. All right. Let Chef Boyard don't do what he's got to do over there because we got to eat.
All right, we're going to serious mode now. Go ahead.
No, we have
Aren't
to do
jokes
serious
supposed to be
mode.
funny?
Oh shit!
I was about to go somewhere like that in a minute. I was going to let him go a little further and use that line, man.
All right,
jumping down right on the host, man.
You know, I don't like having two people in the room because they go against it.
Believe me, it's going to get a lot worse for you in a few minutes.
Well,
No,
what would go ahead?
I always like the to be behind the console.
Right.
All right. I always like to do that. So through all the bands I was in, I always sat in the room with the people producing and engineering. And when I got into Twisted, in the early days, I actually produced some of the early stuff we did. Of course, it never worked out how I wanted to. You have to spend only a couple of dollars, and you have 2 hours in the studio to mix, 8 songs and stuff. So it never worked how we wanted to. And then when we made it big, we actually had real name producers behind us, and the band was semi-happy with the jobs they did. And I was always trying to put my influence in there, and they would kind of ignore me. So when we finally got back together and decided to re-record Stay Hungry, I mean, that was my real shot at the title. The band said, but they didn't really have a choice. I said, I'm doing it. But basically they said, okay.
Right.
And,
don't snap my neck.
Right. Don't hurt us. So we re-recorded Stay Hungry,
Right.
and it's actually called Still Hungry. And the band loved the way it came out. The actual production qualities and some of the arrangements is mostly, well, the production's all done by me.
Well, who did the original one? Wasn't
Tom Werman produced Stay Hungry.
Right. Okay.
The original one back in the 80s.
What?
Great job. Don't believe me. A great job for its time and its era.
Right.
But when you listen to Still Hungry, it's much bigger.
Right.
It's huge.
I was
All the
just going to
sounds are
say, I mean,
big.
there is a noticeable difference.
Absolutely. And technology's changed and everything like that. And not to knock what Tom Werman did. He did a spectacular job. But the band wanted to sound more aggressive and less polished.
Right.
And that's basically how Still Hungry came out. That's what it is. And since then, I've also, before that, produced a bunch of live things that we put out. When there was no band, when we were broken up, we put out Best of and Live at Hammerstein or Hammersmith Odeon and all this stuff. So I produced all that live stuff in a lot of those years that we weren't a band. We were just putting out material. But since we got back together, I've done everything.
What about other bands? Have you produced?
I've occasionally worked with other bands. Back in the 80s, the mid-80s, JJ and I produced a band called Reckless. The guys in the band are a good friend of ours, and on a sad note, the guitar player died not too long ago. He's a very good friend of mine, Bob Gamm. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He's a very good friend of mine. He died in a tragic motorcycle accident. But that doesn't stop me from writing it. Don't point, because it's not TV. People can't see what you're doing.
No, I wasn't meant to. No one would have known unless you brought it up.
Yeah.
And I was
So,
I
but anyway,
I
we're
thought you
talking
were
about-
professional enough not to showcase that I just pointed, but okay.
Well, no, I am professional enough, but it's not TV, okay? Remember, I have my own radio show.
Yes.
So in any case, back to producing. Produced them. They were on Atlantic Records. Phil Carson signed them. And they had some semi-successful stuff going on. And then back in the 90s, JJ found a band in Atlanta, Georgia, which changed names a bunch of times. So it actually turned out to be a band called Seven Dust.
Oh, I know this story. Yeah.
And that I produced their first album.
Wait, that I didn't know.
Yes.
I know
Just
JJ
their
managed
first,
it. Wasn't there? He was their manager.
Yes, he was their
Okay.
manager for a while. I produced just their first album, their big album.
Is that Home? No. What's the first album? Not the one with Denial, right? It's the one before that.
Before that, with Bitch
Right.
on it, Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, A Breath, I mean, yeah. Yeah,
You produced that.
I produced that album.
You lying son of a bitch.
Why, it says it on the album,
Hold on,
produced by.
where's Wikipedia? Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yes,
cool. That's cool.
yeah.
So why didn't you produce the next one then?
I didn't get along with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
They were all about to get hurt.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, also JJ and them eventually had.
Yeah, JJ and they
falling out.
I don't want to bad rap anybody here. That's not really the idea.
But they had a falling out.
Yeah,
Let's just call
I
it
guess
that.
they didn't like the job I did, but everybody else in the world loved the job I did.
Yeah.
But when the band's not happy, the band's not happy, and then he moved on, and I moved on.
And it just happens sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
It's okay. So that's what I mean, and I've produced some other bands, but didn't go anywhere, and they're constantly in the studio doing all of the stuff that Twisted puts out, no matter what it is, whether it's for Guitar Hero or any commercial or anything like that. I produce all of it. Yeah.
Are you happy with what you've done? Like your body of work? Like if
No,
you
I
stopped
wish I
around-
could have done a lot more.
Like what?
Produce other bands.
So more on the producing, not so much performing.
Both.
What-
I love it all.
Because I know, like, I just wonder, like, oh, that sounds good.
Wait a minute. This is your brain, and this is your brain at this radio show.
We all stop for a second. Oh,
no.
yeah. Wait, do that again, Ken. Oh, my God. That's so good.
Go. Sounds like
No,
me
I was
after
just
a long
wondering
week.
because, Twisted Sister, had a lot of the visual, sort of like if we were going to make a comparison to Kiss, you know what I mean? It's like there was a lot of visual. The stage showed like you guys were a presence, it was
Big
something.
difference from Kiss.
No, but I'm saying in the sense that there was that in addition. It wasn't just
Right.
like guys got up in jeans and played. Like Deep Purple didn't matter what they wore. It was
Right.
just kind of like musically only.
Right.
And the only thing is I know, and I don't know this for sure, but from things that I've read and people I know, I feel like Paul Stanley would have loved to be some more like Paul Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Like would have loved to maybe have been more.
I'm a Kiss fan, and I don't know Paul Stanley at all, and I would make that judgment about him. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows except for him, right?
Right.
Oh, you actually know him though, right?
Yeah,
You're
but I
pretty good
never
friends with
talk.
him.
I never talked to him about that.
I don't
But I
know.
just
I'm-
the impression I get based on the way he does his solo records and the interviews and just
Yeah,
things he
but
says.
solo
like,
records are supposed to be different from what you do with your big act,
Right.
right? So he
But I
does
feel
different
like
stuff.
almost like, and I'm speculating. I don't know if this
Yeah,
is true or
okay.
not. But I feel like I almost feel in the back of his head he wishes he probably was in a project that got more respect musically and not so much just for the show.
I'll tell you what. If
Does
I
that
had
make
his
sense?
fame and fortune, you can call me anything you want.
That's what I say. I agree too. But listen,
Absolutely.
but you can say that about anybody.
Absolutely.
You can say
And,
that Donald Trump could be upset. For,
all right, I'll tell you this. Twisted Sister has similar reputation as being a show band and not so much great
Right.
musicians. But I
Visual
do. I think in the band, I do more things musically also outside of the band than anybody else does. And I play with a blues rock band with a good friend of mine, Joe Rock, and I constantly get, wow, I can't believe you know how to play like that.
Right.
Or like, wow, you're actually doing some
Well,
pretty
no, but the
amazing
reason
stuff.
I ask is because when I met you, when we first started playing with you guys, like I didn't know you guys and whatever, and I remember like when you would doodle like during sound check or just once in a
Yeah.
while, and you really like mountain, like all the mountain stuff, and like you can play, like you can fucking play, and the reason I ask, I guess if it to just the point of the question is, did you ever sometimes say like, man, what would it have been like if I was in a band that was more of a musician's band, a muso band?
No, I love what I do
Okay.
in Twisted Sister. When I joined Twisted Sister as a bass, I knew the band before I joined the band. I was actually working for them as a crew member.
Oh yeah.
For about 6 months.
Is
I
it
needed-
JJ's? Like he was the one that kind of started it, right?
JJ started the band.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was working for them in early '98. Was it? I'm sorry,
98?
What am I talking about?
Wait, what?
78.
78, yeah.
Man, a long time ago. Early 78. I actually worked for them for the
It's a big
summer.
difference.
Big difference. The food's getting me distracted.
I know,
here.
it smells so good.
I'm starting to drool on this microphone.
Dude, I wish you guys
Where
could
are
be
the
here.
jokes now?
Yeah, right.
The smells so
This man's getting
good.
protected now.
See, now you have a bodyguard. Before you had a bounty hunter, now you have a bodyguard. So okay, go ahead.
When I joined the band, they asked me to join the band, I realized that a certain job had to get done in bass playing. You know, too many musicians walk into a project, and you know that. You're an accomplished musician. People walk into a project and they do what they want to do. They don't listen to the band or listen to the music and say, this is the job that needs to get done.
They
Twisted Sister needed a certain job on bass. They didn't need, although I could play like and love
they
playing
didn't
like
need
Billy
it.
Sheehan.
Right.
You know, it doesn't fit the music. So once I joined Twisted and understood what the band was really about, and the band got a lot heavier and larger sounding with me there. But eventually, you know, I said I got to do a certain job, and since I could just play basic bass in most of it, you know, that's when all the arm flailing and everything came around. I got to do something better than that.
Yeah, you do a lot
you know?
of like.
Well,
movement.
you know, and all the trick moves with the bass.
Yeah.
So it's more visual, you know, and to make that work while you're playing bass,
you got to
is
play a little
difficult.
simpler, right?
Yeah, you got to.
But do you get
simpler.
your rocks off with those other projects?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, when I play with my friend Joe Rock's band and stuff like that, I get to do all kinds of wild bass stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And then there's a couple other bands with I actually play with a husband and wife acoustic team, and I play acoustic bass for them, and they have a percussionist with them. I do it 2 or 3 times a month, sometimes in the city, sometimes in New Jersey, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I never get to.
You
do
need
that
to.
kind of
You
stuff.
need to like.
Yeah,
you know.
I love playing. I love playing,
Right.
and I would go. I
Well,
would play every night.
why do you think
if
I
could.
do this podcast? It's not that I'm such a great, you know, although people say I'm actually a pretty stellar interviewer. But anyway, I digress. But, you know,
man, are they wrong?
but the reason I do this is because, well, for free food, but also because I love to talk. You know that. I love talking. I love food. And I,
Yeah,
and
you
I,
are pretty good with the blah blah blah.
Yes, I
it
blah
doesn't
a
make
lot.
sense most of the
No,
time.
but
it's
but
blah,
who
blah,
cares?
blah,
This
blah,
is
blah.
that's my point. No one could
Right.
if no one wants to download it, don't download
Right.
it. I do it,
Right.
and it gives me a chance to kind of just like, you know, vent and do my own thing, which
Yeah.
is really
well,
cool.
I have a radio show and I love it too.
Yeah,
I
and which
absolutely
you're going to
love
talk
doing
about
it.
your show too in
Yeah,
a
we'll
second
get
because
back
we've been
to
on
it.
there. But our appetizers are here, so let's. All right, so let's.
What do we got to do? A
let's dig in.
station ID or commercial break or
No,
something?
no, there's no commercial. No, we're going to eat. We're going to take a bite. And we're going to eat. No, just take one bite, and then we can maybe pause it.
This has got to be the tuna, right?
All right, so yeah, this is the ahi.
All right, here we go.
All right, ready? This one looks better. I'm looking for the best bite here.
What's the best looking? There's silence, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
got a thumbs up.
Oh, very, very, very good. Very
do me
light.
a favor, just pass me a napkin there, bro. I don't want to touch anything.
Very light.
Very good.
Yeah, but what I
Thank
like
you,
is
thank you very much.
it's very light and very like flavorful, but it's like not overly. Like what? How do I explain? Like I don't. It's just like sometimes when I have tuna, like tartar or tuna, any kind of sometimes they put too much spice in it, or guacamole, whatever. And this is very nice. It's like it is not beating up my palate, but it is succulent and. I'm running out of words.
Just eat it and shut up. Yeah. Who wants to listen to this?
All right, let's pause so we can eat. We'll come back.
sure?
Yeah, I'm
All
hungry.
right. We'll be right back after these messages. And we're back, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show. We're stuffing our faces during that commercial break.
We never had a commercial break.
Man.
This is the first for the
Is it
Paulie Z
really?
Show. Yeah, we never had a commercial.
Did
Actually,
you actually run a commercial?
no.
Or was it just dead air?
I think it's just dead air. We'll find out in the editing. But you know what's funny? When I had Frank Stallone on it was in L.A. Alex, you remember this? I had to pee so bad because I was drinking tons of water, and I didn't know what we should have just did like a commercial break, but we didn't think because we never stop. We always go live. So I actually told him, "Can you run the show? I'm going to be back." And I ran to the bathroom, and he was basically all alone. So he's like,
He just kept talking on his
he
own.
kept talking, but it was so professional because
Yeah,
he's
of
like,
course.
well, welcome to the Frank Stallone show. And I'm in the bathroom, literally, like, like when you go into the bathroom when you're in a hurry is never a good idea. Because I'm like, I got spillage everywhere, and I'm like,
You should have brought a mic with you.
yes, I did. Well, we didn't have wireless mics to follow me all the way there.
Long
but
cable.
yes, that would have been funny. But I come back and he's still talking. He's like talking almost like if I never even left, and he's talking about
See
the
how
Grammy Awards and
unimportant
stuff.
you really are?
Oh yeah, listen, but it's the only reason I'm even here is just there is no reason, I guess.
I mean, it might be good to have you around, use you as a moving target. That's about it.
That's true. That's true.
That's
And
about it.
yeah, and my hair is good for soaking up spills on tables and stuff, like Bounty. So there you
Swell.
go. So let's talk about now. Well, since you're making fun of me so much as how crappy of an interviewer I am, I guess you can probably do better. And you do have your own show, right? So I guess you are better than me.
Animal Tactics Radio.
Oh, there's the plug, the shameless plug.
You asked, right?
That's true. Okay, then it ceases to be a plug.
And you were actually on the show.
I was
twice,
and,
right?
And yes,
Yes.
with the guys.
With the guys,
It wasn't
the
just
band,
me.
yes, right.
And you well look. There's no doubt you obviously have a radio voice. Like I don't. I have like I have an annoying Jewish voice that's like that kind of thing. I don't have. How do you get?
That's really accurate.
I know
It is. It's real accurate.
Listen, I'm very honest with myself.
Okay.
Look, I can't have everything. God gave me, talent, musical talent, and good looks. So I can't have everything. I can't have a great, speaking voice too.
You got what you got according to who?
The poll, the masses agree that my singing voice and my good looks are really my, the things that I've been well endowed with.
What masses?
The witches at Black Masses.
It's not working so well for you.
Let's talk about your show,
Go ahead.
my friend.
Right.
So okay, so tell everybody it's called Animal Tactics.
Well, Animal Tactics Radio originally started on FM a few years ago. I had done a bunch of interviews on a station called The Bone.
Oh, I love the
Long
Bone.
Island's Real Rock Radio, the new 98.5, The Bone.
Now do
But
that
anyway.
do that for my show. Go.
No,
Do it.
that's my voice for that show.
No, do it for my show.
No,
do
you're
a
not
different
getting
one.
it.
I'm not going to get one?
I'll do you some station IDs before
Okay.
I go, all right?
Okay.
Just calm down, all right?
Okay.
We're talking about something here. Stay on target, all right?
Okay,
Stay
that's the
with,
first lesson.
Focus, all
the
right?
first
Focus.
lesson. Okay, I'm focused.
Focus.
I'm focused.
Freaking mook. In any case, I was on the Bone a bunch of times with the morning show there, and they were a lot of fun, great stuff. And finally, after being on there for a couple of years, on and off, they asked me. They said, "Well, you want to work here? You want to be a DJ? You want to do that?" And I said, "You couldn't afford me." They wanted me to be a regular DJ, like an afternoon drive guy, and they couldn't afford me. That's like prohibitively expensive. So they said, "Well, what do you want to do?" So I said, let's do a specialty show like once a week for like 2, 3, 4 hours. So finally, they said, "All right, let's do it. Let's do, an evening, like a Friday night, and do like 6 to 10 or 4
Well, that's
to midnight.
like
8
Eddie
to
Trunk
midnight.
does.
Yeah,
same
and
sort
it
of
worked
thing.
out. It worked out that way, and I brought a bunch of guys on the show. My friend Joe Rock from WBAB is my producer, and he's a great producer. His knowledge about radio is incredible. And I had a couple of good friends of mine on the show with me. I had Sean. No, I'm talking about regulars, not just you.
Oh.
Guys who worked on the show. It was Sean and Driver Ed. They basically programmed the show, a lot of the music. They helped me out with subject matter and music. And I also had an engineer who was special ed who worked at the station. All right? And the characters were great. There was a lot of dysfunctionalism on the show, a lot of bickering and arguing. And people loved it. But it was great because it was a live show and local to Long Island.
Okay.
And we had a huge amount of audience participation, incredible amount for something that was new. We had computers set up. We did IMs, emails, and we also had phone lines. And it was nonstop mayhem, constantly. I mean, I had to calm it down to play music. We got to get some music in here, guys.
But was it pretty much all about rock and roll, or did it like this show is rock and roll food? Like, did you have something or whatever?
It kind of morphed as it went along. It was music. It was rock music. Oh, of course, it was rock music based.
Right.
But we started to include other things. The audience that a majority of my audience were into cars and motorcycles, and we're blue collar people. So we kind of bent it that way and fit Not that I love cars and motorcycles, and it's one of my passions. So it was easy to do that. But eventually we started having guests on about, motorcycles and cars and racing. And
That's what
hot
I
rod
meant,
stuff. Yeah, and that's really the way the show was going until the station went bust and they pulled the plug.
But the reason I ask is because I feel like that adds personality to the show. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
it
not
certainly
just
did.
like just a general music show. It's like
No, we didn't unlike Eddie Trunk, who's a good friend of mine and the band's.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great guy. He specializes in music.
right,
And
a specific type of music
and a
too.
specific type, and he stays on it a lot. And he
Right.
really doesn't. We would do a different subject matter occasionally. I mean, we do cars and motorcycles, and would once in a while do something different besides music. Have a guest on it had nothing to do with music. So
Right.
it was a little bit more varied about that. But the show based upon the characters that were on the show. The 5 people who actually,
Right.
or the 4 guys besides me were on the show, and there was a lot of dysfunctionalism.
Oh, those guys talked also. They were part of. It wasn't just.
Oh
you.
yeah, no, everybody
okay.
talked.
Yeah,
Everybody
see,
talked.
that's.
I had to rein them in sometimes. I had a little console in front of me. I'd
Right.
like, all right, it's enough,
Load it.
because their arguments would go on a little
Yeah.
too long, and people would jump in. I mean, all of a sudden they would start arguing, and every IM would light up, every phone line,
Right.
and people were taking sides.
Well, that's what's great about being live. Like for this podcast, it's pretty much just the first episode that we ever did.
Yeah.
Was literally just me talking by myself as an experiment.
Oh,
and
is
I
that
had
gotta be a
Oh,
dud.
yeah. Oh, it's terrible. And it's like I'm going to tell him. I talked about basically because I do like food reviews and restaurant reviews and stuff like that. So I talked about the Outback Steakhouse for about 45 minutes of just
Did
what.
they pay you for this at least?
No.
What the hell's
well,
wrong
that's
with you,
talk to
man?
my producer. I know
Jeez.
we should get sponsorship money. But I literally talked about the bread and butter, the filet, the shrimp on the barbie. Like all I did was just describe their menu for 45 minutes by myself to no one.
You got Chefy Baby here, and you want to talk about the Outback Steakhouse?
Well, he wasn't there on that
Yeah, but
episode.
I
I was
mean,
all by myself.
I mean,
I'm
not
just
that
saying.
I like Outback.
I
Don't
love
get me
Outback.
wrong; it's a great place, but
Well, I needed to start somewhere, and that's one of the.
they
It's a
got to
local.
pay for that. 45 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Well, we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Another thing we want to do is we want to take our guests. Like we brought a chef to you, but we want to do a video thing where we're going to take our guests out, like to a restaurant and buy them dinner, whatever, and then like do the interview and talk about the food. So let's say we would take you somewhere that you wanted to go or that you thought was cool, whatever. And so that would be the next phase. And also live would be great because I think, can you imagine me and you going at it, whatever, and then someone being able to like,
A
IM
call
us,
in.
right? Yeah, it would be
absolutely.
great.
Of course, D has House of Hair.
Right.
And it's a recorded show. And it's a great show. But he misses the audience interaction. I mean, he just gets up there and does his scripts and, they play the songs and things like that. And he has, believe me, he writes his own scripts. Everything he knows the subject matter ahead of time. He writes his scripts, but he misses the audience interaction, and so do I.
Yeah.
When I took Animal Tactics from FM airwaves and went to the internet, it was a pre-recorded show.
Yeah.
And it lost a lot of its luster. It
It's
really
hard
did.
to do live though. If you're not set up, like I would love.
Well, yeah, production-wise
Yeah,
and stuff. You
I
gotta
love,
have
and we
facilities.
wanted originally, and I think we're still going to try to get to that point at some point. But
Sure.
especially with consistency schedule-wise, you know what I mean? Just like there were a couple of times where I wasn't around because I was on the road, so it's like there's a lot of logistical. Maybe we'll do some that are live and some that aren't. We could do something like that. But
Yeah, when
I agree with you. Oh my God!
Look
Hold
at
on
this.
a second.
Wow.
Hold on a second. We've got eggplant burgers here. Wait, hold on. Which one do I want?
The one that you didn't spit on. That's the one I'll take.
I want that one.
Why, what's wrong with that one?
Nothing.
All the extra flavor, no extra cost.
Nothing. I just look at the size and the shape, and this one had more asparagus. Are you eating? Oh, now he's eating.
Now he's eating.
All right. So let's explain what's happening here.
All
We
right.
have the eggplant. Well, Ken, you haven't talked about. Go ahead. Tell us what
Kenny,
you got.
why don't you describe? Get on the radio here and describe to us what's happening here.
Simply an eggplant burger. It's eggplant sliced into thick rounds. I just marinate it in olive oil, balsamic vinegar, a little salt and pepper. Grill it till it's nice, hot, and juicy. Melt a little fontina cheese on it, and you build it like your favorite burger.
What's the condiment though?
Pesto.
Oh, nice. I
Yeah,
like
I'm a
pesto.
big. The people call me a big pesto all the time. But
They
for
call
the-
me a pest.
With
Yeah, you're a
the O
pest.
or without the O?
Yeah, exactly. Just cook over there, right? But you got to understand, Paulie, this is radio, so people can't see what we have here. And let me tell you, the vegans in the world are going to love this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm right. Am I
Well,
right?
look, this looks like a total barbecue
This
meal.
looks like a health food
Aside
meal.
from the fontina cheese, that's vegan all the way. Yeah.
right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
my
it's
sister
cool
would
because
love
what
this
he was
stuff.
telling me is like it's a cool like some like when you go out you barbecue and whatever, and there's some of those people like they're like they can't have the burger, they can't have the hot dog, whatever. This is great because it gives you that same vibe.
Yeah, my sister's a vegan. She's like a health food. She's a yoga instructor,
Oh, great.
vegan
That's
to the
awesome.
max, And I go to her house and I eat things that taste like gravel. Like, what is this gravel?
Well,
can't even put dressing on it.
Bring Ken over.
It's gravel. Like, give me something to taste. I want some taste going on here. All right, so I guess we
Take
should
a bite.
take a bite out of this asparagus.
Take a bite and
What
then
is
we'll-
this?
Oh,
Ken,
yeah.
what kind of burger is this?
Eggplant burger.
Oh, dude. Mark, take a bite before we do a break. I want to see your first impression. That's really good.
Wow,
That's very good.
that's fantastic.
Because it feels
Thank
like
you.
I'm eating a burger.
Well, that's the thing about eggplant. It's total vegetable, but it's meaty. It eats like slice it thick and grill it. It eats like you don't need to have all that heavy red
Is
meat
this your
to
invention?
enjoy a burger.
Is this your invention?
Oh no, everything's been done in cooking. You're all reinventing the wheel.
Really? And asparagus fries.
Yeah, it's cool because you feel like it's French fries.
I feel like it's French
But
fries,
you know
but
what
it's
you
a
do?
lot healthier for you.
Yeah.
Still looks like asparagus to me.
You know what? No, but what would be
Close your
cool
eyes.
if you put it in a French fry container? How cool would that be? Although you said you wanted to have white asparagus. That he said that would have looked more like fries.
Yeah, white asparagus would definitely have the aesthetic, but unavailable at this point in time, unfortunately.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Take us out, Mark, so we can do it.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages. We are back, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show, starring Noah. Oh my
No, leave
Food in my
that.
mouth.
Leave that. No. We're leaving
You
that.
can leave it. You leave it.
Again.
Hang
My
on.
fault again. I'm sorry.
Yes. Bro, I was listening to him. I was like, "Oh, are you ready? All right. Shh. Got a break." We are back. You're listening to the Paulie Z Show, starring none other than Paulie Z. You're making me laugh, man.
That's the point.
I
What
spend,
the fuck was that?
when I do voiceovers, I gotta really like stand there with blinders on because I start cracking up and start doing silly things. I did this corporate thing about 3 weeks ago, and what should have been done in a half hour took like 2.5 hours because we were cracking jokes and doing funny stuff. And they actually decided to do a bloopers tape and give it to the corporation. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But yeah, it was actually pretty funny. Listen to this guy with his blowtorch. I'm in my shop cutting steel and metal, 1/4-inch plate steel with this torch, and he's using it to heat up these peaches here. Yeah, we got you. You're eating.
Well, they can't see
I'm burning
so.
sugar onto the peaches.
Yes, I see you
Oh
doing
shit! I'm actually allergic to peaches.
that. Yeah,
That's why I brought them.
excellent. You're gonna end up doing like the curly shuffle on the floor, the Japanese Beatles.
No, not that
on
bad.
its back, shaking and stuff. It'll be great. I like to kick you then.
I almost died though when I ate caviar years
Really?
ago. Yeah,
What, you're allergic to caviar?
yeah, but not raw. Like only like real, like the high quality, like what a beluga. I
Beluga.
guess it's beluga eggs. And I tried. I was at a fancy schmancy Russian party.
So
in
Charlie
Brooklyn.
Tuna's okay, but beluga caviar isn't?
I don't know. I didn't try Charlie Tuna, but I tried it, and they like the guys were like, "Oh, this is the best Russian caviar that money can buy." You get blah blah blah, and I was like, "Okay." First of all, it tasted like shit. I didn't like the taste of it. And then 30 seconds later, I'm turning blue. 5 minutes later, 911's got me in the
I would have
ambulance.
been cracking up, man.
Oh, I'm sure you would have.
Be
But,
kicking you when you're down too.
All right, so we are nearing the end of our podcast. Thank God I can
This
send
went
you
fast,
home.
man. I mean,
It does
what
go
the
fast,
hell's
right?
with this crap?
With breaks.
Yeah, really.
Wait, can you imagine without a break?
Really?
We've probably been here for 3 hours already. Can you imagine when we go straight, it goes like this.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Just to tell you real quick, the first few episodes, we would like, we'll do like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I had a couple people on the phone. They averaged about a half hour, I think, right? And I'll tell you who broke the mold, and you'll laugh. Sebastian Bach.
Oh, he's a great guy, man.
He's a great guy,
He's a character and
but
a half, man. He's great.
Character and a half, but I couldn't shut him up.
Yeah.
And which is
Yeah, you do need to like rein certain people in on
I'm
certain
terrible.
shows. Oh,
Just so
yeah.
you know, I'm terrible at that because he's always Alex, my producer extraordinaire. Alex is always looking at me and like giving me the like, come on, and I can't because I talk so much.
Whenever I get to a silly show like this, which is more fun, honestly, a show like this is more fun than doing a standard interview.
Right.
I always have to like rein myself in. I go, okay, here's the thought process, and being 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 an interviewer, I got to get from this point to this point real fast and get it before the clock gets to the 15. You know, so.
But
yeah,
give me
you
a
think that
technique.
way.
Help me out real quick. Give me, as being a professional guy on the radio, can you give me an idea of like how do I?
I got one great idea for you.
Yeah.
I got one amazing, incredible piece of advice for you.
What?
Go find something else to do. You ain't good at this. No, they should just. Hey. Paulie, here's your dessert. Here's your dessert.
Wow, look at that. All of a sudden, I'm happy again. You can see what makes me
This
tick.
is brutal, man.
Holy shit. Not brutal, brulee.
Brulee, you're right. This is brutal. Hey, I got a
No,
name for
come
the
on.
menu. Brutal brulee.
Give me advice. How do I rein people in when you're talking about stuff that I don't care about? Like, how do I stop you?
Change the subject matter. Come up with something. Say something.
But I always feel like I'm
Chime in.
interrupting.
You got to chime in if you're going to be the host and you're going to be in charge of
Well,
the show.
speaking of that,
okay, on my show, the Bikers for Babies.
How
right?
amazing
yes,
are
I
my
want to make sure we.
desserts.
By the way, how amazing are these desserts? Wait, real quick, because we're running out of time. For people that know, or maybe they don't know, I had Dee Snider on the show a while back, and we tied it into an event he was doing called Bikers for Babies, which you were at, and I saw you there. And I actually, to my surprise, because I never raised money for anything before, I was able to raise over $1,000, like in literally less than a week. Like I had like last minute notice, and I was very proud of that. But I'm curious, how did the event go, and how did that $1,000 compare to the big dollar? You know, like how much you guys?
The big picture.
The
is
big
what you're
picture,
trying to
yeah.
say.
Like, was it
You're
minuscule? Did it
tripping
mean
over-
nothing?
No, it meant no. Listen, when it comes to charity and things like that, I'm telling you, pennies make a difference. If I don't care who you are, if you got to turn in a couple of plastic bottles or soda cans and donate it to charity to a really good cause, it all makes a difference. Because if 1 million people did that, just think of what you have.
Yeah.
Everybody handed a nickel in. That's a lot of money.
Well, I tell people all the time to donate to the Paulie Z Fund. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Well, I need I just ripped a pair of True Religions. Those are $300 a pop, so
Yeah,
I
there
need
you
new
go.
pants.
Right.
Well, what was the tally?
Well, in any case, the Bikers for Babies, Dee Snider's Bikers for Babies, this particular one, which is the one we started out doing, this is our 8th year. All right. Applause, everybody. Every year it gets better than the year before. We had actually 1,700 bikers registered that rode in the ride. 1,700 motorcycles, okay, in the ride. That's a lot of freaking motorcycles, okay?
Yeah.
And that day, just that day alone, not including all the other donations, that day alone we raised $105,000.
What?
$105,000 for the March of Dimes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
You want to talk about some good numbers?
Wow.
Those are good numbers. Wow. Yes, that's just
Right.
our event.
Just that day.
Just that day. I mean, because March of Dimes has walks. They have a lot of different events throughout the year. That one-day event, not including all the donations from around those days, people kind of donate and win prizes and stuff like that, and it goes on for a long time. That one day, we clocked $105,000.
And Paulie Z raised over 1,000. Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
You know,
Woo, woo.
anything,
Hey, don't stop clapping.
everything matters when it comes to charity. It really does. Everything matters.
I set just a little secret. I set it originally at 300 because I didn't know what to expect. I never raised money for anything ever
Right.
before, so I went out on the line for this thing, and I went out on the line. I gave my life, but I didn't know what to expect, and all of a sudden I saw it was going really quickly. Everyone was really responding.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh shit." And I told Dee that too. I said, listen, if I do 3 and I surpass it, I look like a hero. If I do 1,000 and I don't make it, I look like a douchebag. So
You look like a douchebag anyway.
I know, but I'm a douchebag that raised money.
Yeah, well, that's good. No, it's actually a serious cause. Twisted Sister is always involved with a lot of charities. I mean, one year we donated 10% of our proceeds to autism. Every year we're doing something different. But the guys in the band do all their own things separately. This Saturday, this is obviously not live. This Sunday, is the March of, right, it'll be in the
Well,
past
when at
already.
the airing of this, it'll probably have passed. Yeah,
It
just
will
what
have
was
passed
what's the
because
date?
This Sunday,
What's the date?
This Sunday it would be
29th.
August 29th. Is the March Dimes and Staten Island motorcycle run. AJ, my drummer, is in charge of that one, or the chairman of that one. D and I ride with him this Sunday. So that's another
For
March of Dimes
bikers,
event.
maybe-
Bikers for Babies.
Oh,
right,
so it's the
March of
same one.
Dimes.
Okay.
Well, it's a different chapter.
But same
cause.
cause. Is what I'm
Same
saying.
cause, different chapter.
Well, what I'd
right.
like to do, I mean, it's no secret. We love children. We work with kids and
Absolutely.
stuff, and I definitely once we get our feet going in our career to the point where we can start doing that, like the two things that I think I want to do is asthma for sure.
Yes.
Because I have asthma and David's got diabetes, so I'm sure he'll wind up doing something with that. And
you can't do something for everybody, but you can pick and choose a few things.
But it's always better to pick something I think that you have a connection. Like
right. Let me take over for a second, honestly, and tell you about.
Can I eat while you talk?
You can eat while I'm talking, but listen to this. JJ French, his daughter Samantha, who is now, I want to say 16, 17. I mean, sweetheart of a girl, great girl. She has an eye disease that I can't pronounce the name because I really don't remember it. It's a real long. It's got a lot of vowels and consonant and syllables and everything in it. Anyway, it's basically an arthritis of the eye. Okay, and is only about 1,800 people in the world that have this disease, and most of them go blind from it by the time they're in their 20s. So JJ is taking it upon a cause, and her medications every time she goes is $17,000. It's every other month.
What?
$17,000.
Is that covered or no?
Yeah, insurance is covering it, but just think about that money.
Right.
JJ decided to jump on this bandwagon and make that his personal cause to help out his daughter. Well, there's a hospital in Boston that treats her. It's the only hospital in the world that specializes in this particular eye disease. JJ French decided to go out and do something unique. He wanted to have a guitar equipment auction, but not just the regular run-of-the-mill thing. What he decided to do is, since his signature guitar is an Epiphone guitar, Les Paul, and it is a pink sunburst guitar. You're familiar with that, Paul?
Oh, yeah, it's cool.
Well, he went to all the major manufacturers of guitars and amps and had everybody, just about everybody came on board, made him pink sunburst guitars. So you're talking about manufacturers who are enemies or against each other.
Oh, like Fender made one, Gibson made one.
Fender made a Telecaster and a Strat, okay, in pink sunburst. Rickenbacker made a 12-string sunburst. Martin Guitars made a sunburst guitar. Marshall Amplifiers made sunburst Marshalls.
No, Marshall too?
Marshall, Hartke is on board, Vox. All of these companies, all the major companies, you name it, made things and donated for this cause.
And what is he auctioning that now?
Well, what he's doing, he's going to make a poster and a calendar out of all this stuff, and he's going to have an auction. I think we're doing it before the Christmas holidays this year. Twisted Sister's going to play a concert in Boston near this hospital, okay, completely for charity, for free. And somehow we're going to have a worldwide auction. We're going to have people either auction it off piecemeal or one big auction for the whole collection. This is a one-off collection.
Oh,
it's never
not
been
one
done
by
before.
one. You're gonna.
Well, I don't know. They're working on the concept right now, but he actually has most of the equipment. I've seen most of it. It is unbelievable. The collection is incredible. They're one-off guitars. I mean, there's no copies of them anywhere. So, and every company got together and donated a piece of equipment, a guitar and an amplifier. Excuse me. Everybody, Vox, you name it. Everybody's on board and made pink equipment for this cause.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's going to be
But you know what?
incredible.
Here's the thing. Just we got to wrap up in a minute. But what's great about reaching a level of success, and look, there's the money, there's the fame, there's the girls, there's a lot of reasons to want to be a rock star or some movie star, whatever. But one of the things, and I hope more people think like this, but for me, like, if he wasn't JJ French, he could not do that. Like, if I did try to do that now, I could probably get Gibson. I could probably get a couple people. But there's something you can actually take that
JJ
power.
has a unique talent.
But what I'm saying is,
but you talk to people. And
but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
When
you got to start with something.
Right.
You got to be somebody to make
if you
this happen.
achieve a certain level, and
Sure.
one thing I look forward to in life is getting to that point, besides the other stuff, to be able to say, okay, like Paul Simon, goes and has his mobile medical
Absolutely.
truck.
Sure,
Or
of course.
I want to go into if I wanted to go in right now to like an inner city school and I say, I want to do a program. I want to do this. You have that power. People will, that's the guy from that band. That's that guy. And you can make change.
Yeah, you have weight behind you. Your
Right.
name means something.
Right.
Twisted
And I
Sister.
look
and
forward to
individual.
that. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
I do that occasionally. There's a lot of charity things. I show up for a lot of charity events. Even though I can't work on the event, I'll show up to their awards dinner and give out the awards.
Right.
That's donating my time.
Yeah. Well, we've done a lot. The Z
yeah.
Brothers have done a lot of
Sure.
charity stuff in the city.
Yeah.
But again, smaller scale stuff. But we
course.
do tons of charity things. Of
course.
But it's like the more power you get, the more you can do.
Right.
And it's great to hear. That's why you guys are great. All the guys in the band, because you guys, ever since I met you, you're good people. But obviously, you give back, and you guys have a good head on your shoulders. And that's for me, growing up with bands like, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Kiss, you guys, I never got into the people that were the druggies and selfish and they were just into their own thing. And I just want you to know, like, even though we joke around and we're friends and stuff, I respect, like, what you've done. You know what I mean? Like, musician to musician, human to
We've
human.
achieved a lot, especially since we got back together in 2003 with all of the USO tour and all the charity work we do. People don't even realize how much we do behind the scenes for charity. Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
but they will now because you're on the Paulie Z show. See?
We're getting a wrap up from your producer.
Yeah.
Your show's too short, man. We could go on for another couple of hours.
I'm telling you, it's like Howard Stern. I should have 6 hours. Part 2, we'll do it again.
No,
Would you come on again?
Yeah. As long as he's here.
Ah.
Chef
Did you have
Boyardee.
fun? Did you have fun?
Absolutely. Man.
Well, wait, before you go, just take a quick bite
I'll
of
take a quick bite of this.
Ken, tell us what we got for dessert while we get out of here.
Fill us in, Ken.
We have bruleed peaches with dried cranberries, Jack Daniel's whipped cream, fresh mint, and some toasted almonds, but not for Paulie because he's allergic to those too.
I'm allergic to peaches, allergic to almonds, and I don't drink alcohol. What am I doing with this dessert right now?
This is freaking delicious.
It is good. My lips are tingling, by the way, just so you know. A little bit.
Don't worry, I'll drive home.
No, it's not so bad. I won't die. All right, listen. I want to thank Mark Mendoza, Mark the Animal Mendoza for
Get it
coming
right.
on. Sorry, he's going to break my neck. And Ken Calabro for cooking us a wonderful meal.
Yes. Kudos
And,
to the chef, man. Kudos.
You can get this episode and all the other ones on iTunes. You can also go to the pauliezshow.com and email me, YoPaulie at the Paulie Z Show. If you guys want to tell me some more recommendations for next time I go to Vegas, or if you want to comment on the ones that I already told you about. And ZO2.com is the website for the band. And my Twitter is twitter.com/ZO2Paulie. All right, so I think I covered everything. Thank you again, guys, for being on the show, and we'll do it again. And this is Paulie Z saying later.